What's going on, folks? It's your boy again, Dr. Sean Thomas, back in the building, episode 76 of the Be More Today show. We are back in the building. And folks, it's just great to be here. 76 episodes continuing to grow and move and push. Be More Today is here. You know, we're a movement. Whenever we're doing our thing, we're on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. So please, if you have not done so already, take time right now and subscribe, right? Go on our Be More Today site, subscribe. We're on YouTube. We have a Facebook group right now that continues to post weekly inspirational things and tidbits. So join our group, join us on Facebook and Instagram, and continue to be a part of the movement. We are here now in 42 countries. What? 42 countries, folks. And it's been continuing to grow, and I'm blessed. I'm happy. I'm grateful for all the support that I've gotten from you guys over the past 2 years. This is season 2 right now that we're doing, and it's been just amazing learning from people. Again, ordinary people doing extraordinary things every single day. I can't tell you how happy I am to see the progression of this thing from the beginning to now. And if you want to be a part of it, you can go on our page and donate. You subscribe clearly and just continue to be part of the family. It's really a family now of people who are trying just to get better, taking their health seriously and making sure that we push forward every single day to be more. My quote for today is very, very simple as always. And it is this: it's often the small things that no one sees that bring the big results everyone wants. Yo, it's marathon season. And last week we ran the Bronx 10 mile. I'm not gonna lie to you, with COVID-19, I just got out of running, period. It was probably the one thing that everyone had a chance to do that was safe because everything was closed. But I was not in the mood to do anything. I was not running. I was not working out. I was just literally doing some workouts on Sundays for one of our groups part on Sundays and just working. And I fell out of running. I didn't even enjoy it anymore. And when they said that the marathon was happening again for this year, the 50th anniversary, I said, well, we have to get our lives together because this is the big one. And I told y'all already, I'm going out like Kobe. 5 is it. I'm doing my 5 and then I'm done. So this is the last year. So I said, I gotta get ready for this thing. But when I first started running again, it felt like I was walking. I mean, my mile times were down. My breathing was crazy. It just felt like I was starting all over again, especially coming after my best time ever in 2019. So it was hard. But running the Bronx 10 mile last week and seeing all the people and seeing all my friends and people I've run with and people I've interacted with over the years, everybody rally to get back into it, to find that grit, that gusto, to put that work in. I recognize that everyone's been doing small things over time. And you don't think the training pays off. If you haven't really been running or you're a novice to running, you see these workouts and what they actually do, and you don't really recognize that it's a foundation that's being laid every single day. So you going out and running on a Tuesday and doing some core work on a Thursday, going out for a run on Friday, and then running a long run on Sunday. It seems like segmental things, like they're all just disconnected. But when they go together, right, those small things put together, they bring big results. And I ran on Sunday and I ran about 3 minutes slower than I did 2 years ago. But coming where I came from, I was so excited to recognize that that's huge because it means that the training does work. The process does work. Yes, just again, like I always say, trust the process and just be persistent. And I got to give a shout out to my Spartan Sunday crew and my teamwork crew and everyone else who ran on that day, because it just shows us that we put that work into those things, we can see success. And I had to bring somebody on the show today that I know also believes that, because some people don't believe that small things become bigger things in the end. And who better to bring on the show for episode 76 than the guy that I actually started running marathons with in the first place. 2017, we started running marathons, and I am only able to say that I've run a marathon because I ran with this guy, and his name is Arthur Powell Jr. Now, Arthur Powell Jr. is someone that you guys may or may not know, but to me, he's everything, because if you see a Be More Today logo, it's him. If you see his Spartan Sunday logo, it's him. He's been integral in so many small things that become bigger things as a result. So let me just read you some of his bio so you know who I'm talking about. He educated at Howard University with the BA in graphic design and Pratt Institute with communication design for graduate studies. He's an Epic EMR Software Consultant and provides implementation, activation, training, and support for healthcare providers. Some of the networks he's been able to serve include, but are not limited to, Cambridge Health Alliance, Cambridge Hospital, Boston, Massachusetts. He's done stuff with New Haven Health at Yale Medical Group. He's done stuff with York Presbyterian, Cornell Medical Group, and the Hospital for Special Surgery. Prior to working in healthcare IT, Arthur worked in the apparel design industry and had opportunity to work with TAA Apparel as a technical and menswear designer for clients like Macy's, Target, JCPenny, and Walmart. Fresh out of school, he started his career in advertising, working with boutique firm MVBMS under the Havas Group. There he had an opportunity to work alongside clients like Volvo, Avion Water, and RMGina, to name a few. And upon leaving Havas, he landed a gig at Disney Buena Vista Internet Group just when the internet was kind of booming and growing. And as an associate producer, he worked with numerous clients to plan their strategies for ABC, ESPN, and the Oscars platforms online. Special interests for this guy have been so many things: art and design, as you probably already know, traveling, running, health and fitness, crypto investing. I mean, he does so many things. He's a part of so many networks, from Be More Today, Spartan Sunday, Spartan Sundays Running Crew, New York Road Runners, Heartworks. I mean, this guy does everything. And again, I'm just so happy to have him on the show. My marathon partner for life, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pets included. Please welcome to the stage my boy and the man with the master plan, Jamaica's finest, Arthur Powell Jr. Arthur, what is going on?
Wow, what an amazing intro. Listen, I'm definitely honored and privileged. Well, I'll say now to be a part of just Be More Today, Spartan Sundays Run Crew, but the Be More Today, aka BMT podcast family. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been a long journey up until now, We've run tons of races together. To your point, during COVID, yeah, it's been like tough, it was really hard to get out. I had some trials and tribulations here and there. But it seems like we're kind of weathering the storm, in some sorts, and just trying to navigate out here during this COVID season. I had some hiccups. I was sitting down, just sitting on your butt, you just, doing work at home. You have your laptop open, and then, I wasn't really moving at all. I wasn't really I know we ran a few times, but man, I was a huge bum, and ended up catching a kidney stone, and just like, I was like, oh man, I need to get out. So here we are, and this what it is. We're still in a trap, but we're still trekking,
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's funny because people don't recognize how much time and effort goes into the training for these marathons. And this being the 50th anniversary, it's a big one. And, I look back to when we started, 2017, we didn't know what we were doing. You and I just kind of went on the track, and you had gotten in the marathon because you won the lottery. And, I got in because, I found my own way in there, and then we both were able to run. And I remember we were so novice. We didn't sign up for anything in advance. We took an Uber over there because we were afraid we were going to miss the ferry because we didn't have ferry tickets. And we were like the first one at the marathon. And, we got there, and there were just so many things that were new, just seeing different people from different countries and hearing different languages, and being in Staten Island at 4 a.m. and all these different things. And, we've been doing this thing now. This is gonna be our fifth one. I mean, we've been running together for a long time, and people don't really recognize when you have someone to train with. It just makes life so much easier. And there were days, literally, Arthur, when I may say, "Yeah, let's go meet up for a run," and I didn't want to do that run, but knowing that you were gonna be there, pushed me to get up, get dressed, meet you wherever we're gonna go, and then even during the run, just to push each other. There are some runs that I wouldn't have been able to do without you, including the marathons that we've done so far. So, I appreciate you and all you've done. And literally, folks, if you don't know, every single Be More Today logo that you see, from the podcast to the Be More Today website to the logo I'm rocking right now, it's all because of this guy right here. There'd be nothing in terms of Be More Today. Every single concept I've given for a workout or a fitness thing, I've always given to you. And I just appreciate you for just listening. And even when I talked about the Be More Today show in the very, very beginning, you were one of the first people I shared with during one of our runs. So it's just cool, full circle, connecting with you and recognizing that you're such an integral part of this. And I read your bio and I see so many things that you're a part of, and it makes sense that you're the crux of so many things. I mean, you do small things and big things for companies and for us and for everywhere else, but those things show results. And I want you to talk a little bit about running, because I read through your bio, and most people I bring on the show are like, they've been athletes for years, they've been doing all kind of things, but marathon running, even for you and I, has been a new thing. So what got you into really wanting to do these marathons as you're about to do your fifth with New York? And I want you to talk a little bit about why that has been integral in your life at all. How did running become such an integral part of Arthur Powell Jr.'s life?
Definite. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I'll say that what really sparked my interest, and I can't even say it really sparked my interest. Why, I just jumped in and started doing it, is because moving over here into Flatbush in Prospect Park, before I was living, in Clinton Hill, and like right before I got married, I was like, man, we need to get a bigger place. So, just, hunting, looking for a new spot, came across, our place down here in Flatbush. And funny thing is, literally, right across the street from the park. So, and, I would say back in, 2001, when I moved over here, I used to hang out in the park, exercise a little bit, do whatever. But it was really like little to no like activity back then. I mean, we had the Soul Circus, that came through every year, Universal Soul, if you guys remember that. And, little events here and there. But, for me, it was just a way to clear my head, get some exercise. I was like, let me just go out and run around the park one day. And that's where it started. I just started, doing a lap here, one turned into two, and then it just slowly like kind of built up. And that's how I guess I just got a love for doing it, and, long story short, we're here like 15, 20 years later. Man, it's like a marathon in the park every day. Like you wouldn't be caught in the park like after dark or anything, back then. And but now it's like, the running culture has spawned into something just like something I would never, think of. So that's where my love started, just running in the park, running around Prospect. And I used to see a few people out there, making it happen, doing it. And I didn't even know like, about road runners or anything like that. And I really wish I would have, because it probably would have, maybe piqued my interest a little bit more in, certain areas, doing some of these races that we've come across, the past 5-6 years. So that's where it all started.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's amazing. And I'm always in awe of people who didn't do these things when they were younger, but now do them, as they continue to grow and to thrive. I've been running since I was who knows how old. But when people get into running, later, and they embrace it and they do so well with it, to me, that's always just like a testament of the resilience of the human spirit. And people always say running as you get older actually gets even better because your lungs expand better, you're stronger. There's a different mindset that comes to it. So when you see 50,000 people running for the marathon, it's no wonder that a lot of those people are not just teens and whatever else, but they're older people of all ages. And it's amazing to see how, like you said, the running culture, especially in New York City, for the marathon has just grown and thrived and prospered. I mean, to the point now where you are about to be a 5-time marathoner. I kind of want you to talk about the Chicago experience because you have the luck of all lucks. Not only did you get bid for New York, but you got also into the lottery for Chicago, and you traveled to Chicago to run one of your best times in Chicago. What sparked you to say, you know what, I'm taking this running thing to the next level, where I'm going to travel now out of state, not just in Brooklyn, but out of state to go do this thing and tackle the feat that you wanted to accomplish?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Chicago, the quote unquote shy, that was an amazing race. And of course, starting out, we started out, Spartan Sundays, Be More Today, turned into, SSRC, Spartan Sundays Run Club. So all of that built up until now. So I would say for me, in terms of lessons learned, the best lesson that I learned in running Chicago um, is I actually ran my own race there because, starting out in the city here in New York, running with you, I mean, like, I think, running with you, always pushed me because, I mean, you're like, 100 times faster than me, but it's just like, I think, and I know when you run with someone who's faster than you, you're automatically going to get faster. So, but on the flip side, I know you always need to run your own race. And I believe that's something you always say, you need to run your own race. At the end of the day, you need to focus on what your pace is, and you need to stick to that pace. And one of my biggest faults, I think, or learning experiences, I should say, is, I believe every marathon that we've done, you know, I said, all right, I'm gonna stick to my pace. I'm gonna get it done, and then when race day comes, here I'm running with Sean, let's go. So that it's always been like a crush for me. So, and I think the hype and just everybody being out there just cheering for you. I mean, it is what it is. But running Chicago, since I was by myself, I ran my own race and I killed it, and the only thing that kind of that really kind of like held me back was, and this never happens, I had to stop to go to the bathroom, that never happens. I'm like, man, what's going on, and then the line was like so long. I think I probably killed a good maybe 10, 15 minutes, off my time, but it was still good. I mean, I still ran like a 4:45, which was good for me, but it was a good time because, I stuck to my pace, and it was, oh my God, it was like so cold out there, running, on the water. And it's just like, but I found like, I wasn't running with any of the pacers, but I found, this couple, I don't know if they were boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever, they were from Costa Rica, man. And I just stuck with them like the whole time, and they didn't even know, but, though the two of them, they were my pacers through the entire race. And yeah, it was a great experience. And I don't know if I would do it again, but it was an amazing experience to run that race.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
right. I always say, yeah, you gotta run your own race. You have to run your own race. And literally, everyone, like you said, the hype in marathon is crazy because there's so many people, the pacers and people cheering your name. And especially if you rock your name on your shirt, they go, oh, come on, Arthur, Jam Rock, and it just gets you hype. But yeah, you can get burned. And even the first time we ran, we went out with that pacer guy who, took us down Fourth Avenue like lightning. And you do that, and by the time you hit Queensboro Bridge, mile whatever, you're spent. So yeah, running your own race is so important, not just in terms of running, but also in life. And I'm grateful that we continue to talk about those things and pacing and whatnot, because it does bring you to a better level when you just stay in your lane and run your own race. And as someone who now is about to be a 5-time marathoner, you and I together, and I cherish that we've done this soon to be 5 times. I think about you, I think about me, I think about your roots, especially, being Jamaican. And, everybody who I have as a friend who's Jamaican says that, Jamaicans are the best runners, so there's a lot of pride that comes into running in general. Um, but for the 50th anniversary, a race that literally is going to bring together so many people from various places, countries, nationalities, ethnicities, what pushes you to run this 50th anniversary race, and why is New York City, especially for this year, so it'd be so important for you?
I just think, from where we started up until now, there's no other race I don't want to participate in. We meet so many people, from around the world, and just from participating in, the expo every year, before the race. Man, there's so many amazing stories out there. And I think that's what inspires me, just seeing all the types of people from all over the world. I mean, meeting some guys, I met these two brothers probably a year ago, and they probably run like the New York Marathon like over 20 times. And, they've done all these iron races. And these guys were absolute beasts, and they aren't like, these guys are probably in their 60s, and it's just a way of life for them. And then you see, on the flip side, you see, not to judge anyone, but you may see people who, you think, they're out of shape or whatever, but they're killing it, even when I was running in Chicago, I seen this guy, man, he had to be like maybe 300 pounds, but he was moving, and seeing stuff like that inspires me. You see people who have disabilities, they may be on crutches, and they're just out there. They're getting it done, so that's one of the major things that inspires me. Is just the people, I have to say, from all walks of life, from all over the world, that inspire me to run, to get it done, to stay healthy. And that's what it is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, speaking of inspiration, I think about all the things that you help inspire others to do. You and I have talked a little bit on our runs about your life and your history, and graphic design is always the first thing I think about when I think about you, because every time I have a logo idea or a concept, I throw it to you, and literally within days you create this thing, and it's always amazing. But I'm always curious, where that inspiration came from for you, because I know about running, I know about all your physical exploits, and I know you do some AV stuff for churches in the area, and even in your bio that does make sense looking at what you've done in terms of IT stuff. But when it comes to graphic design, um, I know you went to school for this thing, and what sparked the interest in graphic design in general, and where does inspiration to make all these different things come from? Because literally, I've come to you and said, look, we want to have this race. We're thinking about this, and then you just come out and you just do these things, and it's always amazing. So I'm always curious. I get a lot of inspiration for me from running, and when I'm running, I see certain things, and that puts inspiration for me even to write my book. Most of my book came from me being on long runs and just thinking about various things. So I'm always curious where your thoughts and inspirations come from for the graphic design thing that you've done for the various running clubs and the various uh, fitness groups that you've been a part of. Where's that come from?
I have to say, I get a lot of inspiration, I got it from my pops, he was into not that he was a quote unquote designer, graphic designer, or anything like that, but he had a love for art, and he used to draw and he used to paint and stuff like that, in his spare time. And he could just, he could just he could sit there and just sketch you, it was something that was in him. So I think that, I believe I inherited that from him. And then, because I always used to draw in class, draw in school, growing up, stuff like that. You're supposed to be paying attention, sitting there doodling in class or whatever. And I never necessarily thought that I would even do it for a living at some point in time, but I always had a love for art and design, because I see design in everything around me. You mentioned running. Yeah, I see it. It could be somebody's sneakers, a graphic on their T-shirt, even in nature, it's just like, it could be the most beautiful day outside and you just see like, um, I don't know, I see like when I'm running through the city, it could be, it could be a tree, it could be some, graffiti on a building. There's art and design all around us. So I just draw from those different elements that are around me. And that's where my inspiration comes from. There's just like, I see design in everything. I used to love like all types of cartoons growing up. I was heavy into, Japanese animation, like you may not know some of these titles, but like Ninja Scrolls and Akira, Cowboy Bebop. They're like all these, cool Japanese animation films that I used to be into, that I used to watch. And, I draw a lot of inspiration, from those. And me and some of my friends, we used to do these flyers for parties. We used to like, get these magazines and just rip pages out of magazines and scan them and just play around, with, juxtaposing different images and things like that. And that's how it all started, for me. And, later on, I guess when I got serious about school, because I never really considered like, going to like design school or thing of that nature, like until like later on. Once I got like really serious, because I thought, my mom, she always used to, oh, you need to do something in my mom was a nurse, so she used to push me, you got to do something in healthcare, you got to, why don't you check out, this X-ray tech program, or, you could be a nurse, but she always inspired me to do what I wanted to do in the end. But, I think she just wanted to know that, whatever you do, you could sustain and, things of that nature. So when I was in school, it was more about like, business administration, but later on, my interest started peeking into like, design, advertising. And that's when I got serious. And, you know, it wasn't too hard to make that transition.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that. I feel like the combination of all you've done so far makes it easy to see how you would get into those things. And I think about the apparel, I think about the stuff you've been doing with, all the different run clubs, Spartan Sunday Run Club, Be More Today. Again, my podcast, Be More Today show. Even my book cover, my book cover is you. Everything that we've done so far has been you. So I'm very appreciative, but I'm also curious about, some of the clothing that we've done. And you've had a number of experiences working with various clothing lines, as you said, doing technical and menswear designs. Um, as we continue to look at like our marathon t-shirts and marathon jerseys, and even the fitness shirts that we have on our Be More Today line, the More store. Um, do you think that that experience in working with like Macy's and Target, whatever else, has helped you to influence the shirts that you've been continuing to develop and to put out there for various clients? And if so, what's your thought on terms of, as a runner now, because you are not just someone who designs these things and makes these things, you actually wear these things. So, what concepts go into the kind of things that we should be wearing and what you like to wear, and how it affects you as a runner or me as a runner? What thought process goes into that?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, yeah, I would say a large part of my, um, I guess being influenced came from, working at some of these places and, working on, some of these unique projects. The company that I work with, TAA Apparel, that was born out of, uh, just, I used to do t-shirts on the side, um, I think I may have even told you this one time. I used to sell t-shirts down the village, down on Prince Street. And, I had this concept to do um, these boxers, these, like, Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano, all these like kind of like historical, boxers that were amazing. So um, I went out and, I researched some of these companies because, working with TA Apparel, I was exposed to like a lot of, I don't know, a lot of just how they ran their business and, licensing and things of that nature. So um, when I was selling t-shirts down in the village, a friend of mine that I ran into down there one day, he actually worked for the company. He was into sales. He was a big sales rep. He sold for like a lot of these major retailers. So um, he actually, was able to like pull me into that space, and man, working with this company, uh, they're like a small like Jewish family. Um, the father that started the company, he started out, I think he had like five silk shirts that, he marketed. He was selling around the Bronx and some places. And then that spawned into this, amazing company, and it was only like maybe 5 or 6 of them that worked in the company, like brothers and sisters, but they had these massive accounts. I mean, they own like factories in Turkey and China, but they had these big accounts with like, Macy's and uh, JCPenny, all the big doors, they work with them. So, you know, working, in that realm, uh, exposed me to some areas in design that I never really worked with. When I say technical design, we had to design these technical packs. They call them tech packs, where you actually, you have to measure your sleeve, from the shoulder down to the, to the, to the base of your sleeve, and you have to plug in all these measurements, in the hem, and it exposed me to a lot of that. And yeah, I mean, a lot of that carried into even when I do a design for a shirt now, whether it's Be More Today or, Spartan Sundays, I know that the graphic on the shirt, it needs to be maybe between 10, no more than 13 inches across. I just know that now from working in some of these areas where you have to apply different graphics to, fabric and things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, it's helped me. And in terms of like running, um, material is everything in terms of like function, the way you move, while you're running. Even more so than design, than the actual, graphics on the shirt. I mean, but if you have, I mean, from my experience, man, if you have like the best material that moves with you, you know, in terms of function, you know, how you run and how you move. I mean, that's everything, and people appreciate that, you know. And you see that in some of these companies, not only with Nike, but Nike and Adidas, you know, they're the majors out there, but there are other companies that have these amazing materials. And I encourage people to check them out. I mean, I don't necessarily buy all of them, but like Lululemon, man, their material is sick, you know. So something that I was exposed to working in, you know, apparel is just like fabrics, you know, all different types of fabrics. And, you know, I think I really love, exploring, finding new materials and stuff like that when I worked in that industry.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that's great. And you use all your expertise to really, again, like I always say, hone your skill set and put out amazing products. And again, I'm grateful. Every shirt that we ever made, from Be More Today swag stuff, even the shirt I have on right now, was really courtesy and thanks to you. So it's much appreciated. I know you actually have been also working with a line called Heartworks, and talk to us a little bit about what that is and what you guys are doing with Heartworks.
So Heartworks is the brainchild of a good friend of mine, my man, my guy, Excel Otto, is one of my church brothers. He had a concept that he wanted to launch, and he told me about it. Again, pointing back to the pandemic, just trying to bring some light and inspiration to people who are out here struggling. He had the term, let not your heart be troubled, and that's a that phrase that comes from the Bible, let not your heart be troubled. um he wanted to like put that out there, and so everyone could like see it, who's going through, whatever struggles, just to keep pushing, just to stay focused and try to be the best you can be, and weather this storm that's out here. So he came up with the initial concepts for it and asked me to work with him, and of course, I was delighted to do that. And, I was able to come up with a concept. I went through several, iterations and came up with a concept, just a simple heart. If you want to check it out, you can go to Heartworks. It's HRTWRKS, heartworks.com, and you can see some of the designs on the website there. But and that's a great project to work on, that I was able to partner with Excel and work with him on that. And uh, that's something that we're kind of pushing on the side right now.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Again, more inspiration for everyone and simple concepts. Like I said before, these small things that can literally, sometimes when you're running, you see certain people wearing certain shirts, and um, there's a certain story that goes behind those things, and a certain feeling that also is exuded when you see those things. And to see that as you're walking by somebody on a random day, that can change somebody's life. It can make somebody who feels kind of down feel completely better as a result. And the same way a logo, like a Be More Today logo or something like that, can change somebody's life and make them feel like, I can do something different today. I can go out there and be a little grittier. Um, the Heartworks line is something that it can do that as well. So if you guys haven't checked out the website, please go on there and check it out and get your show. I'm gonna get mine this week. I've been saying it for a minute, but I am gonna get mine this week for real now, because I saw somebody else rock one, and I said, man, I gotta get on this board now and rock as well and support the movement. So I appreciate you for that. Arthur, I've been looking at your journey and recognizing that as an IT guy for the hospital, I can see why you got involved in hospital stuff. Based on your parents trying to push you towards healthcare. I feel like all Caribbean parents push their kids towards something in the healthcare profession at all given times, including myself. But you've done such a great job working with the various hospitals on the IT aspect. And for Be More Today, I went on a limb this year and said that I wanted to do virtual races in light of COVID-19. And I had never done anything in terms of these things before. So, with your help and with the help of our guy, Ishmael Torres, I was able to do 3 virtual races this year, one of which we had 400 people be a part of. And it's really thanks to your leadership and your tutelage during this time. I'm curious though, at this time, as you see things going more towards the virtual and the internet software realm, even when it comes to fitness, what are your thoughts on how technology can play and will continue to play a role in fitness as you move forward, even out of this COVID-19 quarantine era into the rest of this year and into the rest of this decade?
It's a great question. Yeah, I mean, we've come like a long way, technology wise. Like, and, I mean, a lot of it's. I mean, I love Instagram, but to me, they're like too many platforms for me to to keep up with, But I love, IG and TikTok, the shorts or whatever. But yeah, in terms of kind of aligning those two categories, together. I mean, I've seen funny thing, I've seen some apps out there, over the past couple of years that it kind of ties into one of my interests with crypto, where I think it was called Sweatcoin or something like that, where you have where you could run or exercise and kind of like earn crypto, that's one thing that I've seen, in terms of, aligning technology with health. I see it, of course, in the industry I work in with, healthcare, IT, everything, everything is accessible like virtually now. So whether, we need to, if you have an underlying condition like, diabetes or, blood pressure, we're able to track all these things, through these various apps, whether it's your Apple Watch or your Fitbit, that you see these two categories that are like coming together. And I actually had an experience where I worked with a startup company. That, I don't know if they were the first to do it, but they were able to design this application where, and this is like before Fitbit even came out, they were able to design this application where you could like, track your blood sugar and stuff like that, through an app. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting, and it's, I mean, I like it and I don't like it because, privacy and things of that nature, everything is kind of, we are exposing ourselves like today at, oh man, it's just like all your information is out there. So I think it's good and it's bad, but I think it's good from a standpoint. I mean, you could be traveling in Europe or Canada, and normally you wouldn't have access to your health records, but working with a company like Epic, there's an application that's called MyChart, and you may be familiar with it. I know people are familiar with it. You can access your records just anywhere in the world. Epic is in Dubai, they're in Toronto, they're all over the world, so in that regard, I think it is helpful and useful, but then we have to figure out, how to, protect our information, to protect our data, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I know about the platforms you mentioned, and they are very easy to use and very accessible. So it has been a game changer, especially for healthcare. And it's amazing to see that, with all these different things they're putting out there in terms of the mirror fitness window they have and various apps that are being put out there, I do think that fitness and technology will continue just to skyrocket. And it's the sky's the limit now, I think, in terms of how they're going to be implementing those two things together. Even from Garmin's and Fitbit watches, and back in the day, when we used to run as kids, you have to guesstimate how far you ran. Oh, I think I ran, this this and that was probably like half a mile, and that was probably like here to the farm was like, you guesstimate how far you went. But now with these technologies and GPS and whatever else, it's literally telling you your pace. It's giving you maps of where you run, and it's just amazing to see where we come from, and we'll be excited to see where we're going. But yes, the privacy aspect of it, I can definitely see, and I do think that is going to be probably the one thing we have to just be wary of moving forward. And I completely agree with you on that. Now, Jamrock, very important question and final question. You are number 76 on this show, and we've asked everybody on the show what the phrase "Be More Today" means to them. And Be More Today is something that you have had exposure to from the beginning, because you're one of the first people I shared the concept with, from the book to the podcast to everything we've done so far, the races, the Strava group, everything. So you see the progression of this thing from its inception. So I'm very curious, when you personally hear the phrase "Be More Today" as the 76th person on this show, what does that phrase mean to you?
Be more today, to me, when I think about being more, I think about being uncomfortable. If you aren't uncomfortable, you aren't like excelling, you aren't like moving forward. It's easy to do the same thing, every day, in and out. If you go to work, you come home, sit down, eat, park on the couch, But to me, being more is being uncomfortable, whatever that is, whatever you fear the most, that's what you need to be doing, whether it's standing on the stage, in front of a massive crowd and speaking, or, you may not want to work out, or you just have to be fearless, So I know for me personally, I never I never necessarily wanted to like speak in front of like huge crowds. I've always been like a behind the scenes, I like the camera, directing and stuff like that, but I never thought I would be able to, stand in front of a crowd and give a speech, or, things of that nature. So, working in the field that I work in, I was able to, kind of push myself and immerse myself in that arena in terms of teaching, on a corporate level. And, it was, I don't want to say it was terrifying, but, I was able to work with, a team of individuals, and we were able to, from one of the projects I worked on, we were able to design a course in terms of, uh, this EMR, electronic medical record, how we're going to like, deliver, how we're going to deliver, these lessons in these classes to, like doctors, nurses, techs, and, it was a great experience, because, after that, I think it took us about 14 weeks to put these lessons together. They just put us out in front of, we had to do classrooms of 25, 30 individuals at a time. So what we used to do in the meantime, we used to teach each other. We used to, have our notes, have our books, and we used to teach the programs to each other. So that's what being more means to me, is, being uncomfortable, whatever that means for you, and being fearless. That's what it is.
what it is. Jamrock, any final tips you want to share with runners who are running the marathon this year, people who are trying to get into running, or anyone who is interested in graphic design and how to kind of get to where you had been in your career?
Yeah, just get out there and be fearless. You know, you just have to like I don't want to be cliche, but you just got to get out there and do it. It's always hard in the beginning. Everything is hard in the beginning. Everything is hard in the beginning, but it gets easier over time, and you just have to, take that first step. Get out and get it done.
Yeah, that's really it. That's really it. Listen, where can people follow you on social media or otherwise?
If you want to follow me, you can follow me on IG at Be Great NYC, and that's the at symbol, and then the letter B, the letter G, the letter R, and then the number 8. That's Be Great NYC. And then if you want to hit me up on the email, I'm at Jamrock with no K, JAMROC @gmail.com.
Awesome. Arthur Powell Jr., aka Jamrock, thank you so much for being on the show today. Again, this is usually our running time, 5 a.m. in the morning, but I wanted us to take some time out and just kind of highlight you and all the great stuff you've done, not just in the community, but just, in the world of healthcare and graphic design and so many things. And I look forward to finishing this marathon journey, because it'll be my last, but finishing the marathon journey with you, Kobe Bryant style, 500 the belt. And I look forward to continuing to train with you. And yeah, we'll get the same from November for sure. So thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, brother. Much appreciated. AKA Coach, AKA Dr. Thomas.
And folks, again, listen to what he said. He said so many things today about taking your time, going out there, being fearless, right? Not making excuses, but just doing it, right? Just doing it. And our quote for today is very, very simple. It's often the small things that no one sees that bring big results everyone wants. Jamrock is the one who's kind of been going out there and doing small things for everyone when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to IT, when it comes to graphic design for various brands, from Be More Today's, Heart and Sundays, Running Crew, Heartworks, all these different things, and they're making big results on the other end. So the same way small things can become big is the same way your training can become big, the same way your studying can become big, the same way that your foundational living, right, healthy living, the way you eat, the way you sleep, those things can make big results in the end. So take care of the small things. Let's be mindful of the small things, and let's look for big results in the end. Again, the Be More Today show is heard on all platforms for podcasts and is streaming on YouTube as well. So go out there and check us out. And again, you can check out my book on BeMoreToday.com or on Amazon in both electronic and paperback versions, or BeMoreTodayBook.com if you want a signed copy from me directly. Any more questions you want to send me or our guest for today, you can email me directly at drshawn@BeMoreToday.com. And folks, it's been great checking with you again. I will see you next week for episode 77. But for right now, as I always say, have a good day, have a good night, have a great life, and continue your steps. Take your steps to greatness to be the best version of you. We'll see you next week. Peace.